Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. Well, good afternoon again. I am so delighted to have the opportunity to welcome you here to Insight Hospital and Medical Center, Trumbull, where our doors are open for business and we continue to take great care, high quality care of this community and the patients we serve as we have for over 115 years. For those that I haven't had the pleasure to meet, I'm Cindy Russo. I'm the president here at Trumbull, and I'm joined by my colleague, Jamie Gunia, who is the new Chief Administrative Officer at Insight
Rehabilitation Hospital, Hillside.
All right, it's a mouthful, but we're learning it, right,
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
So we are delighted because Hillside as well is open and serving the needs of the community. You know, both organizations have gone through a lot of changes over the years, but I think probably one of the most challenging was this year between the bankruptcy and the closure notices we received. However, through that time, it's been the loyal commitment of the community here, including our elected officials, both at the local, county, and state level, several who are with us today, as well as the businesses, our board of directors, and especially the dedicated staff here at Trumbull and Hillside, and our skilled medical staff that has continued to have these organizations running. And we have a commitment, Jamie and I and the rest of the team, to continue to serve the needs of this community across the continuum of care together.
Absolutely.
The city of Warren was in particular supportive of us. The mayor and his staff, Eddie Colbert, who's here, was by our side through the entire thing. And we couldn't say enough in terms of how much we appreciate what you've done for us. So I'd like to, Mayor Franklin, if you could come and say a few words.
Thank you, Cindy, Janie. Oh, thank you. I guess this is a good time to say Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes. Merry Christmas.
And what a difference a year makes. I want to just say on behalf of the city of Warren that I'm so happy to be here today, celebrating Insight Health Systems. We're delighted that Trumbull Hillside will continue to provide high-quality care for our community. Now, as you all know, the City of Warren has a long-standing partnership with Trumbull and Hillside, and we look forward to continuing to closely work with Insight Hospital and Medical Center, Trumbull, and Insight Rehabilitation Hospital, Hillside. The Insight, Trumbull, and Hillside teams have been great to work with as this hospital transitions. We look forward to the new services, the new technology Insight has planned for our community to bring to this facility. And as you all know, and if you don't know, I'm going to tell you, the City of Warren has so much going on in terms of economic growth and economic development projects, like the Peninsula Downtown Expansion Project, Warren West Development Project, also the Kimberly-Clark project as well, to mention a few. So with all that economic development and growth, it's imperative that we have a choice when it comes to health care, and that the two hospitals remain in our city. So in that spirit, I thank Insight for stepping up and becoming the new owners of our hospital, and for their commitment to patient care in our community. I have had my own positive experiences at this hospital, the most important being that I was born here. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that the professionals that work here are the best. And I would like to thank them, and would you give them a hand, please? I want to thank you for all the work that you do every single day, and the vital services that you provide for our community. The work that you do is so vitally and critically important, and you are truly making a difference in our community every single day. So I'd also like to thank the Warren City Hospital Group for all of their efforts in saving the hospital. Your commitment and unwavering support of the hospital prove just how important both Trumbull and Hillside are to the community. And I'm looking forward to a brighter future ahead for the hospital. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to Cindy, and I think we'll hear from our commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Franklin. Greatly appreciated. So when time was running out on funding options for the hospital, way back after the closure notice, there was an individual who called to action to the community. And his call to action certainly showed results. And we so appreciate all the work that Commissioner Denny Malloy has done for this hospital so that we can continue to serve this county. Commissioner?
I'll tell you, this is a great day because I've only been here just a couple of years in the capacity that I'm at. But what I saw over the last year with a community coming together to fight for their history, to fight for their traditions, to fight for their community is something that I'll never see again in my lifetime. This hospital opening, what we have here today, this Insight, is more than just a fresh coat of paint inside of a lobby. This is like your father's old car you grew up with that was safe and comfortable, and they don't make cars like that anymore today. This is a rebuild from the tires to the engine to the paint, but it's rebuilding our history. It's rebuilding what we love. It's rebuilding some of the old instead of new today that we see so often that's not right here in American Made. This is more than an American Made hospital. This is a Warren Made hospital, a Trumbull County Made hospital. The stories that I learned and that I heard as we were rallying the community, we didn't know what we were going to do. We just didn't want to lose this. And we reached out, we turned over every rock. We went to the media, we went to the people with money, we came up with different plans. And fortunately, Insight group came in, and they were, the prayer that was out there, we didn't know about them in particular, but they checked every box we needed, and they answered our prayers that we had. And this hospital today, again, is about our community. It's about our economic future. It's about being able to take pride in saying we have great hospitals here in the Mahoning Valley and in Trumbull County. We got great workers. This is about Mr. Romai in the emergency room, and Ms. Shields in nuclear medicine, and all the doctors and staff, and the guy that I just heard about a little bit ago cleaning the windows outside that's been here for over 40 years. There are dedicated people in this hospital, in our community. I can't believe how many employees I met that were here for 30, 35, 37, 40 years. That gentleman today, I think, was 45 or 47. Those are people that they work here because they want to. This is their home. It doesn't matter the name on the building. It doesn't matter the color scheme, the insurance carrier. It's about them wanting to serve their community and do the job that they are, being who they are, and us being who we are as a community. So I'm so proud that we are still standing here today with this type of news that we have, because we've had press conferences before that were pleas for help. And we had press conferences before in this valley, too many of them, where we were telling people bad news. Today, to have a press conference like this, to show the rebirth not only of this hospital, but our future, our community, and the win, it's a big win for all of us. So I'm proud to be able to be in the capacity I am, being a tiny little part of this. And with the management you have here, I'll tell you what, I talked about rebuilding the car. There's no better driver that I want in this vehicle than Dr. Shaw. So, Cindy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. I so appreciate it. So the support of the local businesses here has been amazing, right? They understand, as was mentioned, the need to have this hospital operating, especially given the economic growth that is upon us. Guy Coviello, who's the regional chamber president, has been a wonderful colleague and a great partner, and so I'd like to ask him to say a few words too.
Thank you, Cindy. I finally get to recognize a few people publicly that I've been waiting for this moment to do, and one of them is Cindy Russo, who a long time ago could have abandoned this community, but stayed with this community for months and months and months relentlessly. The other two people are Mayor Franklin and Commissioner Malloy. I got to see a side of them that I wish everybody could see. Behind the scenes, working tirelessly for months and months and months to protect the city's largest source of income tax and to protect a large property in the heart of the county from becoming blighted. So great work to our public servants.
Thank you.
Whenever an outside company comes in and buys a local business, we are always concerned about what happens to the locally sourced vendors and supply chain and service providers. And it's been very refreshing that Insight has expressed such an interest working with us to preserve that part of our economy. So I appreciate Insight for that. Thank you, Dr. Shaw. Again, great event here for everybody, and I'm happy to be part of it. Thank you, Cindy, and I'll turn it back to you.
So appreciate it. Thank you so much. So while all this support that has been mentioned amongst our elected officials, the businesses, this entire community has been wonderful. But we wouldn't be here today celebrating this event if it wasn't for Insight. And so I have the pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Jawaz Shaw, who is the founder and CEO of Insight. Dr. Shaw.
Introducing myself and our team, thought comes to my mind. It's a poem it's a writing of Shakespeare, where he said that a rose by any other name would still be a rose. So when coming to the hospital and just experiencing the community and the facility, I have to say that we see ourselves simply as, another group along the way that is responsible for the hospital. Not that this is our hospital. And the idea that we have a role to play to be a catalyst, bring people together, do all the things that are necessary, at the same time recognizing that we're just one part of that overall team and approach. So since coming here, it's been very, very, I would say, overwhelming. The community is unbelievably invested in this hospital. We're seeing our elected officials, important members of the community, nurses, physicians, staff, and they're very much wanting this hospital to survive. And this was one of our biggest assessments when we came in. I recall, I think it was on September 8th that we first came to the hospital, saw, understood it, started speaking to people and recognizing that, no, this is a fixture that's needed in the community. And that's how we decided that this is something that we should take seriously, which is our overall mission. And I wanted to spend just a couple of minutes for the public to understand a little bit about who we are and our background. I've got a very tiny presentation that I just wanted to go over and just to give you some sense of what we're doing and what we've done and where we're going as a hospital. So of course the name we've added is Insight, and this logo here is the basilar circulation. This is the blood supply to your brainstem. And if you try and understand what a human being is it really our physical appearance? Is it our blood supply? Is it the tissue that makes up the brain? What leads to cognition and awareness? What leads to free will? Who is a human being? That's deeply embedded within that logo. So going deeper and deeper and apprehending the inner nature of things, that's where we get our name from. That look deeply into the issues, and then potentially you can come up to solutions and understandings that are far beyond what you are initially studying. Slides. There we go. Here we go. Let's see if this is going to advance. Okay. Try this. That's all right. I'm just going to continue as you go, Alexis. So one of the things that I often discuss and talk about is really the core of who we are as a society, I think as an individual and as an institution. And one of the things that I think should drive us in medicine is the idea of love. It's the core of the core values that I think that drives our decision making. And I don't say that as a platitude. The idea that if you love a patient, how are you going to deal with them? If you love an institution or a staff or a community, You do not need rules to tell you how to react and behave. And we saw that in the community coming out to support the hospital. And so coming here, of course, we've gone through a variety of different things with growth. You know, I could use the computer down here, you think?
Yeah.
Would that do it?
I think if you hit the keyboard, it will.
The keyboard will do it? Okay. Let me see if this works. No? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. So you're,
The rest,
yes.
See if we can move it like this. All right.
Let's see if this,
Oh, this works right.
do you want this back?
oh, this is right? Okay. Okay. That's perfect.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. So this is where we get our core values. That at the end of the day, we'll find every way to make things work, you know, whether financially or otherwise. But if it starts from that premise, that this is why we're working and doing things, then you can expect great things to happen. This has been our overall approach. We wanted clinical safety, regulatory and legal compliance, financial stability. We wanted to build on our relationships with the community, operational efficiency, and stabilize the staff. These were the pillars around which we worked. We were so surprised how many of these pillars actually already existed. It was really a matter of discovering that as opposed to doing something to try and change the reality on the ground. I also want the community to realize that we've moved from a for-profit entity to moving the hospitals into a nonprofit vehicle. And that's very important for everyone to understand, where I hope my words mean something, that this is not our hospital, it's the community's. And when we move it into a vehicle, which is a 501c3, it's tax exempt, the books are transparent and open to everyone, and it allows us yet to get other resources from the federal and state governments that allow the hospital now to thrive that aren't available to a private entity. So again, we're very excited that we've moved it into a not-for-profit status. We have we've stabilized staff. I think there's around 500-600 staff, and we're hiring for more, as that's a necessity for the hospital to just be sustained. Our services are fairly extensive: cardiovascular, cancer care, emergency. There's so many different elements of what is needed for critical care medicine, stroke care, cardiac care, things that are very time sensitive. This has been one of our focuses, that initially we want to ensure all of that. We have some enhancements. We have neurosurgery, neurology, pain management, urology, technology. So there's been other additions in this last 3 months that we've added to the portfolio of work being done here. I want to show you this because I'm a surgeon. At the end of the day, I'm a neurosurgeon. And coming to the hospital and the county, we recognized fairly quickly there's no neurosurgery. So this was one of my earlier cases that I did, where a patient came and they were stuck in the system. They were unable to go to their hospital where they had the original surgery, and there's a little catheter here that drains the fluid. The fluid was backing up. Something went wrong with that catheter, and we had to decompress that. That could be done with an external magnet. I was shocked when I asked Akram, to help me out here. We don't have the equipment, and one of the nurses volunteered to drive to the west side of Cleveland, pick up the equipment that I needed, and bring it back. And it's a simple magnet you put on someone's head and so on. But because he couldn't be transferred, he was with us for about 2-3 days. That simple maneuver, putting it onto the patient's head, rotating it a little bit, changing the settings, it's kind of like turning a faucet, opening it up so there's more fluid, instantaneously you've changed this patient's brain. And so to be able to say that, it was pretty easy for me to bark out orders, but for a nurse to go and drop everything on time off and go and grab that and bring it back, it's really a testament to that nurse in particular and the entire team to allow this kind of an outcome. I have yet another interesting story, and I was down in the operating room, and we started to now do spine surgeries. I'm told this is the first spine surgery in perhaps the last 15 years that was done at the hospital. So in this particular case, this patient has ankylosing spondylitis. That is that his bones are so fused together, they all grew together. It's like a stick, and if you break that stick, the patient's going to be paralyzed. So even transferring him in this state would have been very dangerous. So again, going down to the operating room, we put a plate in and stabilized his neck, and what an operating room. the aesthetics of it, the observation unit part of it, the nurses that jumped in. Cindy came down to the operating room, right, as president, to come check, make sure everything is going well. I wanted to think that maybe they did that a little bit because it's me, it's my first case. But I realized that's how everyone's being treated. All the physicians happy, smiling, working together. And it was really amazing experience for me to go down there and do a very difficult case. This, normally for a spine surgeon, we extend the neck and we go in. This patient was like this, so I had to go through a crevice which was very small, yet the staff was patient, this case went smoothly. He's at Hillside getting rehabbed. He didn't have to go somewhere else for the dangerous transfer. Again, I just point these little stories out to show that there's a lot that can be done here. There's a lot of growth that can happen here. And I have to say that these are also financially very important for the hospital. So again, we've had a variety of operational improvements that I've mentioned in IT and the OR efficiencies, HR, et cetera, supply chain, revenue cycle. So we're continuing. Revenue cycle management is a big issue in that we're still struggling through that, in that at the end of the day, no margin, no mission. We have to do what we have to do to ensure that the financial stability of the hospital is here. Our volumes have increased. We've gone from 339 discharges in September to 426 in October. Cindy and the team are doing an incredible job with throughput, and it's allowing patients to come in, get treated, and to be moved out. And this is essential for the hospital's survival. Our census has gone up. Our charges have gone up financially. We're heading in the right direction. Our ER visits are continuing to climb, and our surgeries are increasing. So again, we're seeing a tremendous amount of energy. But this slide is what I think really what it's all about. If you look at how authority works in most organizations and society, this is what everyone envisions. Someone's at the top, and they're making all the decisions. Miriam Rasool's at the top. We all listen to her, right? She's our grants person. But that isn't really how the world works. This is how the world works. Networks of competence. You've got someone like Jamie or Cindy or Nina or Dr. Bourashid understanding their allies, that there's this nurse that's exceptional, that there's that tech that knows what they're doing. I can lean on this cleaner to help out in a difficult situation. I know who to phone to go to Cleveland to pick out some equipment. These are networks of competence of people who care. And as you start to think that way, everyone becomes a leader. Community has a role, the mayor has a role, I have a role, our staff has a role. And so this is really what I envision is going to cause this hospital not only to become stable, but to grow in all sorts of ways, all sorts of exceptional ways where we're not simply going to survive as a hospital, but we're going to add new services, be world-class in the things that we want to do and introduce, exceptional care, research, residencies, training. This is the vision of the hospital. So overall, we're very excited to be here. We really, I can tell you, I'm overwhelmed at the welcome that we've received, and we will continue to do our best to grow the services here. I wanted to introduce, if possible, Cindy, Dr. Bourashid. He's going to say a little bit about the medical services. Dr. Bourashid is a super close friend. He's the corporate chief medical officer. He has done exceptional work in community after community in building services that people didn't imagine could exist in those communities. I cannot say enough about him, but I wanted him to say a couple words.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Shah. Very hard to speak after Dr. Shah, but I'll just say something very briefly for everyone. Every time we've acquired a hospital, there's sort of a new challenge. You walk in and you're starting to learn what is this community like? What is the medical staff like? One thing that I'll say that has been incredible here, and I mean this, not because we're doing this press conference, the physicians in this hospital are some of the best I've ever experienced, met, or seen. And I cannot stress that. And what I mean by best, I mean technical, the way they operate, their skills, their training. It's oftentimes a challenge, to be honest with you, when you come in somewhere, because you don't know what the level of quality is. And I don't know what you guys have in the water here, but it's attracting people. And that was before we were even here. And so, I want to give, so much credit to the physicians on the ground and the nurses on the ground. This is such an incredible group. And then, the last thing I'll say is to the entire community. What we need now is continued support. We need more nurses. We want to hire more people. We want this place to become its most robust, and we believe it should be like that. And our promise to you is to do this with you and give you our hearts, give you our time, and give you all of our sleep until we get it exactly the way it needs to be done here. So thank you, everyone, for coming so much. Yeah.
Thank you both. I have to say that, we have seen more progress in this hospital in the last 2 to 3 months than I have had in the over 3 years that I've been here. And I am just so excited about the potential of what the next 3 months, what the next year, what the next 10 years is going to bring. So thank you very much, everybody.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Watson. Thanks for watching the WKBN 27 First News YouTube channel. If you want more video news, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the WKBN 27 First News app for breaking news alerts.